I was 17 years old, standing in a hospital hallway, when my father looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I can't afford this. Not for a car, not for a phone, not for some silly teenage want. For my surgery." I stood there, holding my side because it hurt to even breathe, and I watched my own dad turn around and walk away. Not because he didn't have the money, but because he'd already spent it on something else, on someone else. If you're watching this thinking, "No father would do that," stay with me, because this isn't a story I made up. This is my life. And by the end of this video, you might understand why some of the deepest wounds don't come from strangers. They come from the people who were supposed to protect us. Let's get into it. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Let me tell you who I was before that hallway moment broke something inside me. I grew up in a small house, nothing fancy, with my mom, my dad, and my younger sister. My dad worked as a mechanic. Decent guy on the surface. He'd laugh loud, tell jokes to the neighbors, the type of man everyone in town said, "Seems like a good father." But at home was different. You know how some people wear a mask outside and take it off the second the door closes? That was my dad. Outside, he was generous, friendly, always ready to lend a tool or fix someone's car for free. Inside our house, money was always tight. Always. Even when I knew it wasn't. I remember being maybe 10 years old, needing new shoes because mine had a hole in the bottom. Actualoles. My socks would get wet on rainy days. And when I asked my dad, you know what he said? "We'll see." We never saw. My mom ended up buying them with money she saved from selling homemade snacks to neighbors. That was normal in my house. My mom hustling in silence. My dad spending on things he never explained. I didn't understand it then. I was just a kid. I thought maybe we were actually poor. Maybe there really wasn't enough. You believe what your parents tell you, right? Especially when you're young and you trust them completely. But slowly, I started noticing things that didn't add up. You might be wondering, what kind of things? Well, for one, my dad always had a new phone. Every year, sometimes twice a year, there'd be a new phone in his pocket. Meanwhile, I was using an old cracked phone my cousin gave me for free. He had friends he'd go out drinking with almost every weekend. Money for that? Never a problem. Money for my school supplies? Ask your mother. I started keeping quiet about things I needed, not because I didn't need them, but because asking felt like begging, and begging felt humiliating. By the time I was 14, I stopped asking altogether. If I needed something, I found a way. I started doing small jobs, washing cars, cutting grass for neighbors, running errands for the old lady down the street who couldn't walk well. I was 14 years old, hustling like an adult, while my father sat in the living room scrolling on his brand new phone. I never told anyone this back then. It felt shameful somehow, like admitting my dad didn't care about me the way other dads cared about their kids. There was this one moment, I'll never forget it. My school had a trip, a big one, something all the kids were excited about. It cost money, obviously. I asked my dad 2 weeks in advance, gave him plenty of time. He said he'd think about it. The day before the trip, I asked again. He looked at me, this blank, almost irritated look, and said, "I don't have it right now." That same week, I saw him come home with new rims for his car. Shiny. Expensive looking. I remember standing at the window, watching him proudly show them to a neighbor, laughing, feeling good about himself. And I just stood there, silent, confused, hurt in a way I didn't have words for yet. I missed that trip. Every other kid came back talking about it for weeks. I just nodded along, pretending I didn't care. But I did care. I cared so much it hurt. He kept brushing it off. "It's probably stress. He'll be fine." I want to pause here for a second because I know some of you watching this might relate to this exact feeling when your own pain gets treated like an inconvenience. Like you're exaggerating. Like your body hurting is somehow less important than everyone else's comfort. That was me for almost a year, living with pain that kept getting worse while being told it was nothing. Eventually, it got bad enough that even my dad couldn't ignore it. One night, the pain in my side became so intense, I couldn't stand up straight. My mom was crying, begging him to take me to the hospital. And finally he did. That's the hospital I mentioned at the beginning of this video. We got there, and after some tests, the doctor said I needed surgery. Something with my appendix. They said it could turn dangerous if we waited too long. I remember lying on that hospital bed, scared, but also relieved. Relieved because finally someone was taking my pain seriously. Then the doctor mentioned the cost of the surgery. I saw my dad's face change instantly. Not with worry for me, with irritation. Like this was an inconvenience to his day. He stepped out to make a call. I found out later from my mom that call wasn't about finding the money. It was him telling his friend he couldn't come out that weekend because something came up. He came back in, and that's when he said those words to me directly. I can't afford this. I remember just staring at him, my chest tight, not from the pain in my side, but from something deeper, something breaking. You might be wondering, did he really not have the money? Well, here's the thing. A week earlier, I'd seen a receipt in his jacket pocket, a payment for a motorcycle upgrade, almost the exact amount the hospital needed for my surgery.
So no.
It wasn't that he didn't have it. He just decided I wasn't worth spending it on. My mom didn't accept that answer. I'll never forget watching my mother, this quiet, gentle woman, suddenly turn into someone I'd never seen before. She looked at my father and said words I still remember clearly. If you don't pay for the surgery, I will sell everything I own, and I will never look at you the same way again. I had the surgery. It went fine, thank God. But something inside me changed that night. Something that never went back to how it was before. I stopped seeing my father as just distant or strict. I started seeing him for what he actually was. A man who chose comfort over his own child. A man who could look his son in pain and still choose himself. You know, people always say, he's your father, he must love you somewhere deep down. And maybe he did, in his own broken way. But love that only shows up when convenient isn't really love. It's just convenience wearing love's mask. That realization was my turning point. Not some dramatic movie moment. Just quiet clarity. I realized I could no longer wait for him to become the father I needed. I had to become my own support system. After I recovered, something shifted in me. I stopped asking my father for anything. Not out of anger exactly, more out of self-protection. I didn't want to keep feeling that same disappointment over and over. I focused everything into myself. I studied harder. I picked up more small jobs. I started saving every bit of money I earned, even if it was just a few dollars here and there. I remember telling myself, if no one's going to build my future for me, I'll build it myself. It wasn't easy. There were nights I felt so alone, wondering why other kids had dads who showed up for them, who paid for things without hesitation, who actually seemed proud of their sons. I used to scroll through social media and see other guys posting photos with their dads, captions like "my hero" or "forever grateful for this man," and something inside me would just ache. But slowly, something else started growing alongside that resentment.
Strength.
Every job I got on my own, every bill I paid myself, every small goal I achieved without his help, it built something in me. A kind of quiet pride. Like, I did this. Not him.
Me.
By the time I turned 19, I had saved enough to move into a small place with a friend. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I got a stable job, started taking some courses online to build actual skills, and slowly, my life started looking like something I was proud of. My mother, through everything, stayed my rock. She never stopped believing in me, even in moments I didn't believe in myself. And honestly, if it wasn't for her strength that night in the hospital, I don't know where I'd be right now. Reflection/lesson. You might be wondering, did my relationship with my father ever get better? Sort of. Not the way you'd expect from a movie, though. There was no big dramatic apology scene. No emotional hug where everything gets fixed. What happened instead was distance. Natural, quiet distance. I still see him sometimes. Family gatherings, holidays. We're polite. We talk about surface-level things. But that deep trust, that feeling a son is supposed to have for his father, that never came back. And honestly,
I've made peace with that.
I used to think I needed his approval to feel whole. I needed him to say, "I'm proud of you," for it to actually mean something. But somewhere along this journey, I realized something important. His inability to show up for me was never about my worth. It was about his limitations, his choices, his priorities. I am not defined by what my father failed to give me. I am defined by what I chose to build despite it. If you're watching this and you've had a parent who chose money or comfort or their own wants over you, I need you to hear this clearly. That was never your fault. You were never too much to love. You were never not worth it. Sometimes, people who are supposed to love us unconditionally simply don't know how to. And that says everything about them. Nothing about you. Looking back now, I actually feel something I never expected to feel about this whole situation. Gratitude. Not for the pain. Not for the disappointment.
But for what it taught me.
It taught me resilience I wouldn't trade for anything. It taught me the value of a dollar earned through my own sweat. It taught me that real love shows up, especially when it's inconvenient. And most importantly, it taught me that I get to decide who I become. Not my past. Not my father's choices.
Me.
If there's one thing I want you to take from my story, it's this. Pain can either break you or build you. I chose to let mine build me. So let me ask you something before you go. Have you ever had someone who was supposed to protect you choose something else instead? How did you deal with it? I really want to know. Drop your story in the comments below. Sometimes just writing it out, sharing it with people who understand, it helps more than you'd think. I read every single comment, and honestly, this community has helped me heal more than I expected. If this video moved you in any way, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Not for me, but for yourself. Because there's a whole community here of people who understand what it's like to grow up fighting battles no one else can see. And trust me, you are not alone in this. Thank you for listening to my story. I'll see you in the next one.